going on, guys? It's your boy Deuces, and today I have quite the banger for you guys as I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite, no, I would say my favorite card game of all time, Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you guys grew up in the early 2000s, you know Yu-Gi-Oh! From somewhere, whether it's from the Saturday morning cartoon, the fact that structured decks and packs were damn near everywhere, like even at places like CVS, Walgreens, like random places that you can't even find them at nowadays. They were everywhere. You could not escape them. They were bigger than Tamagotchi at one point, and Tamagotchi was huge in the early 2000s. But really, as a player and someone that's in the community, it's kind of hard to look outside of the community because, you know, if you're in your little bubble, you're never gonna think the game's dying. You know, like you see the same dudes every day at shop. You know, if certain shops are a lot more into Yu-Gi-Oh than other shops, you know, it really depends on their demo. But most of the time, when I go to shops that aren't like that isn't my main shop, Yu-Gi-Oh is not the main focus at all. And this became really prevalent to me around 2016 because that's kind of like when the big drop off for Yu-Gi-Oh happened. And if you guys don't know what I'm referring to the pendulum summon system that damn near killed the game. And I'm not gonna say it did kill the game, but it did cause a really substantial bleed in the community because, you know, people left during synchro. Like, you know, some people just didn't want to learn the new game, but synchros were a lot more easier to manage than, you know, pendulums, because pendulums are literally monster cards / spell cards. You know, synchro cards are still a special summoned card from the extra deck. It's almost like a, you know, it's like fusion with a twist. You know, like once you get used to synchro, it's not the worst. But pendulum was a whole new thing, as well as the fact that about a year or two after pendulums dropped, they had to retcon the whole way the system of pendulum summoning worked, which means like it released in a very bad state, absolutely stabbing the game and leaving a huge bleeding effect, which a lot of players left. And that makes you wonder, where did they all go? You know, like these guys go to shops every day, they have that extra money now because they're not buying Yu-Gi-Oh packs. They're gonna probably gear into another card game. And that's where I wanted to bring up, I know a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players don't want me to talk about this card game, but Magic the Gathering, or as I like to call it, the Yu-Gi-Oh killer. Because in recent years, dude, Magic the Gathering has overtaken Yu-Gi-Oh so badly. It's like gotten absurd because, you know, you go to card shops and it used to be like 80% Yu-Gi-Oh, 20% Magic, and that has really gone down. Like it'll usually be 50-50 or 60-40 with it going towards Magic. Like the Magic players have gained so much popularity, like it's actually ridiculous. And also besides that, Yu-Gi-Oh just hasn't really done a good job of marketing, as well as, you know, doing what they were made to do, because Yu-Gi-Oh was designed by Konami to be a marketing tool to get kids to buy cards. You know, it was an opponent to Pokemon, and for so long it was neck and neck with Pokemon. But the thing is even now Pokemon cards and Pokemon as a whole is loved by both children and adults, and I don't see kids nowadays talking remotely even about Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I'll see kids playing, you know, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Let's Go Eevee. Like, you know, there's all these different Pokemon games for people of different kinds. But when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, they kind of took away a lot of what brought people there. Like, people liked Yu-Gi-Oh for the edgy art style, the edgier characters, you know, the crazy wacky hair, as well as, but with the good character writing, like you get from the first two shows of Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh and Yu-Gi-Oh GX. But a shift kind of happened with Yusei Fudo. Yusei Fudo was the last pro tag where he actually had that like edgier, grittier look, like kind of similar to both Jaden and Yami Yugi. But after him, they really all took a crazy cartoony approach to try and compete with Pokemon, but I'm sorry, dude, but you're not. Monsters and monster cards are never gonna outbeat cute little Pikachu and cute little Chimchar, as well as the characters you can make for yourself in those games. You know, Pokemon is much more suited for kids, which leaves the glaring issue: who's Yu-Gi-Oh's target audience now? The kids aren't buying it. More adults are buying Magic the Gathering than getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan base as a whole is stagnant. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, getting a new player in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is surprising compared to any other card game. Because, you know, people will get into Pokemon for their kids, for their cousins, you know, like, or they're just into it for themselves. There's a lot of grown adult, especially girls, that love Pokemon and will play the card game. But you're not seeing really adults, whether male or female, getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! You see them getting into Magic the Gathering, and it's kind of just supported by the fact that Magic the Gathering is made by Wizards of the Coast, who also do the biggest tabletop RPG ever. You guys have probably heard of it, Dungeons and Dragons. Sharing a lot of the same artists from that, you know, you could attract a lot of the D&D / Critical Role crowd over into Magic the Gathering. You know, it's more appealing to adults compared to Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is majorly just an anime now, right? Like, mostly the guys that would get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Are guys that know it from back in the day, or just like the real anime approach. You know, like, they don't want something as cutesy as Pokemon, but they don't want something as realistic as Magic, so they go for Yu-Gi-Oh! But in realisticness, how often does that happen? You know what I mean? Like, if we're being real, more people are playing both Magic and Pokemon over Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's just sad to see, man. Like, the card game that used to own everything, you know? Like, people were playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game over the Pokemon card game. Like, you know, we had the Pokemon cards, but we just collected them. Like, now, kids are actually playing the card game over even knowing what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has fallen off so hard, and it's struggling to stay alive. Like, the game is has had one of the biggest power creeps in card game history. You know, like, there's just so many things back to back that are making people leave. Pendulum had the hugest bleed in 2016. Then they released Link Monsters, which damn near cut out another half. So you guys were already missing a huge portion of your fan base. Lost another portion of your fan base because of Links. And now the power creep is too high, and the price of the game is too high to win. Like, nobody, unless you're literally on a competitive team, going to YGO, or not YCS Pro, or whatever the hell it's called. It confuses me, because the game's called YGO Pro, and then YCS Pro, whatever. If you're a tournament player, you're going to be willing to spend $80 on a piece of cardboard. The average player is not going to be willing to spend $80 on a piece of cardboard. And I'm not talking about a structure deck. I'm not talking about a pack of cards. I'm not talking about a bunch of cards. $80 for one card. One. I'm talking about Dragoon, which actually, no, I'm sorry, it's 90, probably even higher now. Like, kids are not going to want to get into the game. Of course, not every card is that expensive, but there are a handful of cards for a lot of the more popular decks. Like, Dark Magician decks have gotten absolutely insane with Magician's Soul, Dark Dragoon. God, there's a couple of pricier cards in the Dark Magician archetype, but you guys get what I mean. Yeah, man. Just, it's sad to see, dude. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Go from this conglomerate king of games. It was the king of games, and now it's third place. It's phasing out of shops. Like, I went on vacation in Minnesota. I went to 3 different card shops, and all they had were like a couple of spare Egyptian god decks and packs, like a small amount of packs, and they were all there. Like, no one gave 2 shits about Yu-Gi-Oh! And as both a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan and player, that hurt me more than anything. Just not seeing the game getting any form of love, and just seeing its fall from grace has just been a really eye-opening. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this down below. Am I tripping? Is the game more alive than I think? Or have a lot of you guys noticed this gradual bleed effect as well? Anyways, this has been your boy Deuces, and I'll talk to you guys next time.